we have a bunch to talk about, and one of those things is not the state of this sweater. It's comfy. I want to be comfy, okay? It is May 1st, and two of the reading vlogs this month are based around the fact that May is my birth month, and I just wanted to read things that have to do, at least title-wise, with things that I enjoy. I'm pretty sure for the second vlog with this theme, or this idea, do not actually have to do with that object or item. I'm not even sure if any of the books I'm reading for Rose, with the Rose in the title, are actually having to do with roses. Maybe the Rosie Project, because her name's Rosie, I think. I don't know. But I'm starting off with this one because I have Concrete Rose as an audiobook from the library. And then the other two I can get from, not Libby, from Kindle Unlimited. So I don't have like a time frame on those, a limited time frame. I don't know why Concrete Rose was available for the past 2 weeks, but it was. It's only 8 hours, like it's just over 8 hours, so I'm pretty sure I can finish it today. So there will definitely be like an update today on this, which is great because if you know anything about my TBR for May, 15 books is too many. The faster I read some, the better. That being said, I'm really intrigued by this one. I think it's about the main character from The Hate U Give's father in the past. Like, it's a prequel novel. I did read The Hate U Give, rated it 5 stars. I think I read that last year. And there's a very good chance that this will awaken the urge to buy my own copy, because I do have a physical copy of The Hate U Give, but it's like my best friend's copy that she got for free. So I can't annotate it. So like, I have a feeling that this is going to make me want to annotate it, and so then I'm going to want to buy both of them for myself and then annotate them, but we'll see. I do like Angie Thomas's writing, so I'm pretty sure this one's going to be at the least a 4 star. Like, I haven't even picked it up, and that's a thought that's going through my head. I don't know how the narrator is, so maybe that'll affect it somehow, but I don't think so. Like, I have pretty high hopes for at least this book in this video. The other two, I have no clue what to think. But this one, that's what's I'm thinking. I'm thinking this one's gonna be good, which is great. That's what I should start the month with, the one with the highest hopes. But basically this video is me reading 3 books with Rose or Rosie in the title, and just because my name's Rose, I like roses. Roses is one of the very few scents I can smell. I may just go light a rose scented candle while I listen to this. So there's also that. So that's what this reading vlog is. It's all about roses, aka me. So is the next one, but that's a different object, but still about me. But you know, it's my birth month. I can do what I want. And maybe what I want to do is read Concrete Rose. So I'm gonna go do that now, and I will see you in like 4 hours max. Okay, it's not the same day, it is the 2nd, but I did finish Concrete Rose last night. One, it turns out that the Rosie Project, of course, right when I go to read it on Kindle Unlimited is when they remove it from Kindle Unlimited. So I got it from Scribd, which is fine. But I did finish Concrete Rose last night, but it was like 9:30, 10 o'clock last night, so I was like, I'll just update in the morning. And so here I am in the morning telling you that I'm rating it 4 stars. I liked it. It's definitely good. I highly recommend the audiobook. I didn't listen to the audiobook of The Hate U Give, but I did love the narrator for this one. It was really good. But the story itself, like, the story was good. It's just, it didn't have the same impact as The Hate U Give, and that's like the whole reason why it's 4 out of 5. Basically, the general like everything that happens in this, we generally know the very basics of it, at least from The Hate U Give. So not a lot of it is new information, which is fine. I did like how it goes into more details about certain things. I really expected to learn about how he ended up in jail. Like, we understand how he got to the point where he took he like pleaded guilty for this thing that he never did, how it got to that point, but we never like really actually figure out when that happens specifically. Though I do like the more stuff about the original owner of the store, because in The Hate U Give he owns and runs a store and he's a gardener and he does all this stuff and he's a business owner, and then in this one he gets a job to work in the store. He's basically running it by the end of it, and he's also a gardener. He's like really gotten into gardening, hence why Concrete Rose, because a lot of the gardening stuff he does is with roses. So that stuff I did like a lot more, like I did enjoy. I'm not gonna say a lot more, but I enjoyed it. It was newer information. It's a good time. I wouldn't say a good time, but it was a good time. And then there was also a lot of stuff about parenting and such, but it also like ended on like a cliffhanger, like, oh my god, what are they gonna name Star kind of situation. And I'm just sitting here just like, I already know. Like, maybe if I had read this before The Hate U Give, then I would have liked this more, because the basics I wouldn't already know. But that's fine. I still enjoyed it. I recommend the audiobook. It was really good. But now I'm going to switch to A Ruin of Roses. I have no clue what it's about. I think it's a fantasy, and maybe YA fantasy, but it's definitely a fantasy romance, I'm pretty sure. And that's about the extent of my knowledge about it. It's got a rose in the cover, I'm pretty sure. It's got rose in the name. And also it's less than 300 pages. So, which is what we need in a month when I plan to read 15 books. That's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. But yeah, I'm going to start that today. I don't know how long it's going to take me. My hope is to finish it during sprints tomorrow, but we will see. But I probably won't update you today. If anything, I'll update you tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow afternoon / night if I finish it. But we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, Concrete Rose, recommend. Pick up the audiobook. It's pretty good. It's Tuesday, and you get No Makeup Me again. I don't think I mentioned the intro was me with no makeup, but like, you know, that's fine. But at least I washed my hair. Give me props for that. I was reading A Ruin of Roses. We don't need to talk about how I only read 33 pages last night. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. Because I now am reading The Rosie Project as an audiobook, which is only like 7 hours long, which I am starting today as well. During sprints. It's gonna be faster. So I think the extra time I get from listening to Concrete Rose as an audiobook and The Rosie Project as an audiobook will be used in this. I plan to finish it hopefully tomorrow. But I don't know about that because tomorrow's my birthday and I got plans. So who knows? We'll see. Now, why did no one tell me that this book is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but with dragons? Okay? Dragons. Dragons. I have so much to talk about. One, go on my Goodreads and look at the parts that I highlighted, because I'm highlighting all these hilarious lines that I will probably, I mean, I'm not monetized, but like, if I were to be monetized, it would be very fast demonetization because, yeah. But also, for a hot second there, I thought she was going to be 14 because the prologue, she is 14, but it takes place 9 years after that. The rest of the book, so she's 23. I said 21 in my video to my, like, Snapchat video to my friend, and she was just like, oh. And I was like, I don't know how to do math. I don't know why I didn't know this was a Beauty and the Beast retelling. Hot take, she breeds. I've only read 2 Beauty and the Beast retellings I can think of. Hunted in the Alphabet Reading Vlog, and then A Court of Thorns and Roses, which I am reading this month as well. And both of those were 3 stars or lower. So I have high hopes for this one, but I'm also hesitant with that high hopes. The forest situation right now does very much remind me of beginning part of ACOTAR, and basically the whole entire like half of Hunted when she's in the forest. It does remind me of that. Basically, it's a village or kingdom or something like that where everyone is shapeshifters, but the previous king made a deal with a demon king. The previous king's now dead, but he made a deal with a demon king to make it so no one can shapeshift anymore. I think except for the beast, but I'm not sure about that one. And so because of that, people are like sick and dying like all the time. Her grandmother is already dead. Her mom's already dead. She's got 3 siblings, a younger brother. I don't know if the other brother is older, but the younger one that I know that is younger is like 11, and then she's also got a sister, and her dad is sick and dying. She has learned how to make this elixir to slow down the process. It seems like because it comes from not being able to shapeshift type situation, but it's like winter, and so the plants aren't growing anymore, and so she has to go into the forest that the beast is the guard of to get this herb, and some weird things are happening that she's never experienced before. Hot take, she's like that whole entire chapter. The chapters are kind of long, I'll give it that, but during the whole entire first chapter, she's talking about, well, there's an owl in the forest that she's never like heard before, and last night I was up like half the night because I don't know if it was an owl or a fox. It could be either one right outside my window the whole entire night. It's a good time. But basically a bunch of weird stuff's happening that she's never experienced before. She goes in to get this one special plant that's found at the base of one special tree. The fact that one of the parts of the elixir is one red rose petal is really funny to me. But yeah, and now she's being hunted down in the forest, the beast, a few other creatures, one of them being one of sexual nature, which means it's only like 1 or 2 level spice already, but like chapter 1 already got there, okay? But so far this is very much giving me the 4 Horsemen, especially Pestilence, by Laura Thalassa, which makes sense. The writing style is very similar, which gets points because I did love those books. I rated most of those 5 stars. And then, like, also the fact that because of the curse, everything, like, electricity and power and all that stuff doesn't work. So, like, it's quote-unquote back to the Dark Ages, which was a whole entire thing in Pestilence specifically, but the whole entire series, in the 4 Horsemen. And then there's also the fact that I was looking at it to see if, like, any of my friends on Goodreads have read it. And Laura, because I follow Laura Thalassa, and she read it and rated it 5 stars. So it's no wonder it's giving me the vibes. It's good so far. I like it. I mean, I've only read 33 pages. I've read the prologue in chapter 1. Like, I have not read much. But I do like it. The writing style, sometimes, like, because it's dark, back to the Dark Ages type thing, it feels like medieval. Like, she's fighting things with a pocket knife and collecting herbs for medicine and all this fun stuff. And then you also get her saying some, or thinking some things, and the language used is not very like Middle Ages, Dark Ages type situation language. So then it just goes away. Like the first time, with the first quote highlighted, iconic, honestly. I did send it to all my group chats on Snapchat, and they were all, one of them was just like, you know, makes sense. As you should, as you should. It bites the time so far. I'm intrigued by the romance part. Like, I assume what's gonna happen is that, there's like a secret cure, and the secret cure is her love for him or something like that. But we'll see. Also, I'm pretty sure she's about to be kidnapped by him, which makes sense. I also don't know why. Did I say that this was under 200 pages? I think I did, and it's definitely not. Like, my copy is 377 pages. That being said, I am reading it kind of fast. If you don't think about the fact that I didn't read it yesterday. But, I am going to go pick up The Rosie Project, like, right now, because it's 9:35 and I have sprints at 10. For a sprint or two, while I do other things that I need to do, and then I will continue to read A Ruin of Roses, and I want to get at least halfway done today. We'll see. But I will see you tomorrow, which will be my birthday. Ooh, that's gonna be fun. I hope you appreciate the no makeup look and the sound of the dishwasher downstairs, because here we are again. I give zero cares anymore. It's my birthday and do what I want, which is also May 4th. If you can't tell by the Baby Yoda shirt. This is an extra small. I thought it was like a small or medium. This is an extra small. How is this an extra small? Don't understand. Anyways, Baby Yoda, and it's my birthday. I got not sprints but alive in 45 minutes, so I want to have this bit filmed and edited fast, so this is probably gonna be filmed fast. I read more yesterday than I did on Monday, though I was on sprints for almost 8 hours. Dear God, who did this to me? But I did get the sound of dogs walking downstairs, and also I read about 8%, I think, of the audiobook of The Rosie Project. I'll start with that one. I was not I like didn't know what to expect when I was going into it. The main character, I did not originally know there was a dog joining. I did not originally know that the main character had Asperger's. I think that's what he has. Like, I did not know initially. I figured it out pretty fast, but like it took me a second. So that's interesting. Also, the fact that this is considered chick lit, and yet it is a book from a male point of view by a male author. So that's interesting. There's that. I don't really have any thoughts yet. I'm intrigued, but also I have a feeling this isn't gonna be like an all-encompassing great romance for me. I feel like it's gonna be at most a 3-star. That being said, I do like it a little bit here and there. It's enjoyable so far. I mean, I haven't gone like barely any into it. Also, it's really short. The narrator's pretty good, so I'll give him that. Now, switching into A Ruin of Roses. What is this book? This book is so... It's just my brand of weird, apparently, at this point. I'm just highlighting a bunch of crazy lines at this point, because, like, I can't say it, but I'll make them public on Goodreads once I finish the book. At this point, I read 109 pages last night. I'm almost 40% of the way through. There's a dog right here. So that's good. I've already gotten to the, like, at this point, she's been taken by the beast. Everyone else is trying to explain how everything works in the castle, because it's very different than from the village. One person who's doing that a lot is the butler guy, and I am not sure how I feel about him. I'm on the fence about him. Like, he's supposed to be very much gives me like the vibes of like what's supposed to be the gay best friend, who's quirky and all this stuff. But all that's happening is that I just find him annoying, and he's just giving giant paragraphs of exposition with lots and lots of sexual content brought up throughout, like lots and lots. So there's that. Also, I keep on forgetting she's 6 feet tall. I think her name's Finley. She's 6 feet tall. It mentions it in the beginning, and I was like, okay. But that means the beast is at least 7 feet tall, because she says that he's at least a foot taller than her, which means this man's could possibly be 2 feet taller than me, and I can't. The chaotic energy, it's just, what's the time? Though I do really appreciate one, don't know if I mentioned this in the last clip, how in a lot of fantasy romance, especially YA fantasy romance, the main heroine has to be a redhead. And the main character, not a redhead. Her brother is, which I found that funny. He's very much the type of, like, typical female character. Like, he's the bread, he quite literally makes bread in a scene. He, like, takes care of the family, all this stuff. Meanwhile, she's outside hunting, and really smart and doing all the educational stuff and sciencey stuff, and wearing quite literally the pants of the family. So I like that. Also, the fact that the book, like, you know how in poorly written fantasy romances where they try to tell us the heroine is smart, but they just tell us, they never show us, and she just ends up being, like, very dumb. She looks dumb. This is, like, one of the biggest gripes I have with YA fantasy romance, fantasy romance in general, a lot of the time, is that she, like, they have to make the heroine, like, she has to be smart, but they never actually show her being smart. She just does a bunch of dumb things that just annoys me as a reader, just being like, girl, seriously. No, in this one, she is quite literally smart. One, she made this elixir, like a bunch of elixirs in general. Apparently the tea, like coffee one, that it gives me vibes of like black tea type situation, is a big deal because no one has that. No one has the elixir that got her into trouble that helps with the curse and the side effects of the curse, to the point where, like, he doesn't believe that she could actually make it because no one else has this. And then there's also the fact that she can, like, take care of these plants and do all this stuff, and the only other person who has that knowledge is the prince/beast. And then there is also, like, a few times she will be going through something, like, us as a reader, very fast, like, put together of, like, clearly the beast is the prince, like, blah, blah. And instead of, like, someone telling her this or any of that stuff, after about 5 seconds, she's like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Or she, like, notices him saying something and how it connects to something that he should know and how that's suspicious and stuff like that. Like, she's noticing things and making mental notes. And we love that for me, okay? We love reading a heroine who actually has brain cells, because I don't have any. I gotta borrow hers. So we love that. I'm loving that. Is there anything else really to talk about? I don't think so. She's, last I knew, having a conversation with him in the woods. She has been taken. She's kind of a prisoner where she can't go out at night, but that's because the demons. So she has to stay in her room during the night. During the day, she can basically do whatever. It's like her first day there. And he's like taking, well, she's talking to him about all this stuff and whatnot. Also the fact that she, like, he's all like, I'm the protector of the people. And she's like, oh yeah, such a great protector. Everyone was dying until I came and helped. Like, love that. Love that for me. So, yeah, the stuff about the inner beast, I'm not sure how I feel about. And then there's also the fact that the chapters are so long. I think I checked last night and there's something like 18 no, it's gotta be less than that. 16 chapters. I'm gonna do a hard cut here. I'm gonna check. There are 18 chapters. I was right. And I am on chapter 7, the beginning of chapter 7. So they're like really long chapters because it's 377 pages for my copy. So, you know, I think this is the first time ever that I've read a book with long chapters that I don't really mind. Mostly because I am reading it super fast, like it's a fast read when I actually do read it. So it's easy for that sense. The matter of like picking it back up, like when I pick it up, I'm good. I read for a good about time, I'm fine with it. I'm having a good time. But once I put it down, it's a matter of picking it back up that I'm having trouble with. Not for any problem with the book, it's just that it doesn't have the pull right now that I want. But I don't know. I mean, I'm already on chapter 7 out of 18, so at some point pretty soon, I'm assuming some actual romance will come in. Some chemistry, intimate chemistry has come in. So, and I know it's gonna be steam, so we'll see. But yeah, that's my update for today. I'll give you one tomorrow morning. I probably will not read much today. I'm just gonna start with that fact. I'm not gonna read much today. Between the birthday live, in which I am not doing sprints, so it's not reading, and then the fact that that's very soon, like in half an hour, and I haven't read any today, which means the only time I have time to read today is this afternoon when family's over. So I guess I could read this book that's basically smut on my phone with a bunch of family members around. But yeah, I mean, they'll get distracted by Rizzoli and Isles on TV anyways after like 5 minutes, so I could probably do it then. Probably read some then, but other than that, probably won't read much. So I don't even know if I'll update you tomorrow. I may wait until tomorrow after sprints to update you. We'll see. You ready for the fastest film clip ever? It is the 5th. I thought I would update you this morning. Might as well. I only read like 48 pages. It was just under 50 pages last night, so not that much of Ruin of Roses. What happened? Not much. We got more steam, a little bit more steam, which was a good time. And then I'm still not sure about the 2 people who work at the castle that are supposed to help her out, like her lady's maid, and then the butler guy, like not sure about them. And then Princey dude, not sure about him either. But I assume he's gonna be fine because he's the other part of the romance of this book. But yeah, it was a lot of just, at this point, multiple times he's brought up, she's very gung-ho about ending the curse and whatnot, and it's clear that it has to do something with like her, because she is his mate or one true love or whatever you want to call it. So like something like, I think what's going to happen is she's his one true mate and whatnot. He keeps on saying that she has to, in order for the curse to end, would she give up her life and all this stuff? And she says yes every time, without question. At one point, the second time, he said afterwards, well, I wouldn't let you, which, hear me out. Okay, fam. Something tells me she wouldn't let you not let her, but you know, that's fine, that's fine. But yeah, something tells me that like after like this so-called give up your life would be the Demon King taking her, separating them forever, being the last part of the curse being for the last royal in his kingdom, like destroy the last royal in the kingdom so that he can take the land, also because he has very strong feelings about intimacy and whatnot and relationships that aren't his mate, it seems like. So if he's such as that and the Demon King has his mate, then he can't have children, therefore the line can't continue, and therefore the Demon King just has to wait for him to die and can take over the land type situation. So something's gonna be like surrounding her and taking her. I assume they're not gonna kill her because it's a trilogy, but you know, maybe. Also the fact that she has all the plant information. She has more plant information than he does, and that's just from books, and he actually was taught stuff, is top tier. And then I think my favorite intimacy scene, like it wasn't actually intimacy, it was like emotional intimacy type thing going on, where the butler guy was dying due part of the curse, and so apparently the reason why she's been able to make all these elixirs this whole time is because her, in her animal, her shifter persona can heal. And so, basically he's holding her, protecting her from her own magic while she heals the butler guy. And so, one mate guy just, like, the prince just, is holding her, making sure she can't shift, because if she shifts, it will harm her. Like it harmed him. He forcefully shift, and now he can do it, but it made it so he can't fly anymore type situation. He won't let that happen to her kind of thing going on. So basically he's quite literally holding her, making sure she doesn't shift while she heals this guy, and also uses his power, and all this stuff, like borrow some of his power to do it. And it was a nice scene, okay? I admit, I like that scene. I'll give it to them. I'm about, I think I'm halfway through now. So, that's fun. I could have gotten to page 200, but being as how long the chapters are, that would have made me end in the middle of the chapter, so then I would have to finish the chapter, and that would have mean I would have been reading until, like, at least midnight, and I didn't want to do that. So, I ended at 50% last night, but that's fine. I do have sprints, like, in a few minutes, in less than half an hour, so I definitely can get some done in this, though I'm probably going to read some of the Rosie Project before I work on some of Ruin of Roses, but we'll see, tomorrow morning, how far I got in anything. But yeah, see you then. Gosh, I'm out of clips. I should just save them all of me fixing my hair right before I start talking these clips. Honestly, I should save them all, but it's not gonna happen. It's like almost every time. But let's talk about the Rosie Project. We'll start with that one. It is later in the morning on the 6th, but in my defense, I woke up late. I was kind of up late until like noon reading, so there's that. The first book I started with reading yesterday was The Rosie Project. I got to 51%, so I think that's 43% I read. Not much really happened. It seems like where I left off, like he's going up to Rosie's room or apartment or something, and they're gonna be a thing. Also, they dance together, and his usual disgust when having to deal with physical interaction with someone did not happen. So that's the thing. Also, some stuff about his sister's death came up. There was a medical error to do with pregnancy and whatnot, and no one knows who the dad was. And I woke up this morning with just like the inkling of a feeling that maybe it's the best friend who is most definitely cheating on his significant other. I don't know if it's his wife or if they're just long-term partners. I'm pretty sure they have kids together. I can't remember characters' names like ever. I just remembered that the main character's name is Dawn, and the only reason I remember that is because the series is called like Dawn something. So there's that. But basically I am 100% his best friend's cheating on his wife or significant other, because like multiple occasions, like he was, the first time he met Rosie, he called up his best friend to talk to him about it, and it was like 3 in the morning or something, and she picked up the phone and said he wasn't home. He said he was having lobster with him. He has this whole thing where he wants to sleep with every race of woman he can and whatnot, even though he's like 56 and has children and all this stuff. Dawn thinks it's an open relationship. He's been told it's an open relationship by his best friend, so don't know how reliable that is. Also, what just happened was the department ball or whatever, and he at one point asked or called up the best friend to ask for advice about who to ask to the ball type situation, and like it's a faculty thing, and she didn't even know about it. She's like, I didn't know that this was a thing. Like, I'm 100% sure that he's cheating on a significant other. Also the fact that he tried to sleep with Rosie, and then she turned him down. So then he hooked him up with Dawn. Like, that's a little iffy. So based off of his character, I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out he was the baby daddy for Dawn's sister. But I don't have any proof. I just have a feeling, okay? We'll see. I have less than 2 hours left with ×2 speed on the audiobook. I think it's like an hour and 45 minutes left with 2 times speed. So I'll definitely finish it tonight. In fact, I'm planning to finish both of them today, so that this could be done. But also so I'm still on schedule. There's that. If I don't finish the Rosie project, I won't be upset because I do have a lot of stuff that I gotta do tomorrow, but I plan to listen to an audiobook, so I mean, I plan to listen to a different audiobook, but if I have to, I can listen to that one tomorrow. But I want to finish both of them. Now let's talk about A Ruin of Roses. I don't remember the exact amount of pages. It was probably something like 80 or something. I do know that I have exactly 105 pages left. Is that where I left off? I don't even remember what chapter I left off. Tommy kicking the box behind me. Left off on. But it's probably something like 5 chapters left. She finally realized that Dragon Boy is the prince, like the prince and whatnot, and learned what, like, both her and we learned why the curse exactly happened. Well, on the father's point of view. Like, it's made to sound like the prince helped in the death of his mother in some way. And so I'm intrigued by that. And then there's mostly just steamy scenes. Like, that's basically all that's happened. Let me tell you, the switch between the Rosie project to going right into A Ruin of Roses in a steamy scene, very different books, okay? Let me say that. Very different books. It was originally jarring just going from, like, listening to the Rosie project and just having a pretty normal book, and then A Ruin of Roses and just all that chaos. But yeah. She's learned things and whatnot. I mean, there's 105 pages left, so I assume, they're gonna do the deed, and then the full extent of what needs to happen to break the curse is gonna come up afterwards, and then she gets upset and is taken by the Demon King. That is my theory on how this is gonna end, being as it is the first book of a trilogy, but we'll see. Don't think I'm gonna, I mean, I may continue with the Ruin of Roses series, but don't think I'm gonna continue with the Rosie Project series. Hate to say it. But I'll see you tomorrow with the closing, one way or another. Okay, here we are. It's 1 p.m. on the 7th, which is later than normal. Did not finish the Rosie Project yesterday. Did not read any of the Rosie Project yesterday. May finish it tonight, may finish it tomorrow. I don't know. But I did finish A Ruin of Roses. How do I say? I was wrong about where the story was going to end. That being said, it was very underwhelming. Like, the way it ended was just him going off and leaving her behind to basically have this whole plan for her to figure out, which he did very fast, to save the kingdom. That would cause, like, it starts with him dying type situation, because if he dies, then the kingdom is freed from the curse, and then she makes a deal with the Demon King to set herself and her family free type situation, before he kills everyone and takes over the country type situation. But she was not happy about that, and so basically it just ends with her leaving to go catch him before he goes and gets himself killed type thing. So, you know, I guess there's that. Like, it was very underwhelming, especially since, like, the whole entire chapter and a half before that was just very, like, it was very up here, and then all of a sudden, the very last 2 pages was, like, down here. So, very underwhelming ending. That being said, I will continue the series. I mean, it's only 3 books. And if I just sit there and read, I could probably read one a day, honestly. But yeah, that's that. I think I'm going with 3.5 stars. It's hard to explain this book. It's like if you combine generally a lot of stuff about ACOTAR, the first book in ACOTAR, which makes sense. They are both Beauty and the Beast retellings. So if Tampon doesn't become a person, doesn't do things, and is instead a dragon, it's kind of similar to that. But if Feyre, like, had more of, I don't want to say more of a personality, but more of a main character, heroine, I don't take no crap from anybody type attitude type situation, and then mix in a few things from A Court of Mist and Fury, especially that scene. There's this one part where he's like injured. He basically gets bitten by these demons that are poisonous in order to save her, and so he's dying and she's trying to save him type situation. And it was very much that scene in A Court of Mist and Fury where Rhys gets shot down with the poisoned arrows and she has to save him type thing. It's very much the same thing going on right here. Especially since you can tell that he's keeping a secret of the full extent of what, like, how she's special. He keeps on calling her special. He just makes it seem like to her that he's just talked about in general, not in an actual important way where if she dies, the whole kingdom is screwed. So he's basically doing all this to make sure that she can survive so the kingdom can survive type situation. So there's that. There's that. It very much reminds me of those two books. Ironically, all the parts that I actually enjoyed of those books mixed with a heroine that I actually like, and dragons, and lots more of the hot pepper emoji just everywheres. Oddly, not as much with the two main characters as you would expect. Generally, everyone else, yes. Especially in the castle, it is just a giant hot pepper. I now can imagine the castle is just a giant hot pepper emoji thanks to TikTok. Thank you, TikTok. But the two of them, they do some things, but not all. They don't do a lot of things. It doesn't go full force between the two of them. It seemed very hesitant from both of them, especially him, because he's quote-unquote the alpha. So if they do the deed, she will belong to him intimately, forever type situation. And so he just spends the whole entire book holding himself off while she's trying not to admit her feelings for him. And by the end, she's low-key realizing, oh, too late, it's already happened. So not sure how I feel about that. Not the intimacy I wanted, but I got some. Though it did say at the end of the book that book 2 will have more between them. So there's that. Really not what I was expecting for the ending. And then I guess the last thing I have to say is that it could have gone through another round of edits. There was a few times where someone would say something or think something and I'd just be so confused on what they're talking about because of the way that it's written sometimes. It feels like a word is left out every once in a while or something. Or we miss some context. So, like, which is weird for a 377-page book. So it could have definitely gone through another round of edits, but I'm not going to take points against the book for that because it is independently published. So, like, if she got someone else to edit it, it was someone she's paying from their own pocket. So, like, yeah. And I get it. So it's fine. It just was a few times that it happened and it pulled me out of the story. But I'm going 3.5 stars. Very similar to Desperate Measures in that vein. Very much reminds me of Desperate Measures. If you take Desperate Measures and the first two books in ACOTAR and combine them together, that is this book. So, and that's the only way I can explain it. But yeah, even without the underwhelming ending, I had a feeling it was going to be a 3.5, so not that upset. We'll continue the series and see where it goes. And I have no clue when I'm going to finish the Rosie project, but we'll see. And I'll see you when I do. So, we need to have a conversation. I feel bad DNFing the Rosie project, since there's only 3 books in this video. But we've had this conversation, in case you haven't seen my first monochromatic reading vlog or my March-April wrap-up. I am trying to work better at DNFing books. If a book is giving me 2-star vibes, I should just DNF it. This one is definitely that. It would be a miracle of the last 47%, because I did read another 2%, but I can't do it to myself. So it'd be a miracle if I rated it 3 stars. So at this point, it's not worth it putting myself through it. But I feel bad because this is a 3-book video. And 1, I'm so behind on my reading already. And 2, I DNF'd on them. So what's gonna happen is I've already like saved and downloaded them now, so I'm not changing it. I'm not changing it, okay? But I am going to read A Court of Thorns and Roses. I was gonna reread it this month anyways, so I might as well just put it in and have a good solid time. Just put on the audiobook while I play Stardew Valley or something. I mean, technically I'm on reading sprints, but I can just turn off my camera and play some Stardew Valley at the same time. Or basically anything that isn't listening to that book. Because at least with A Court of Thorns and Roses, I know what to expect. And I am in the vibe for it. I think A Ruin of Roses really put me in the vibe for it. So it's the perfect time for me to read it anyways. Might as well put it on. So that's what's happening. I haven't even told you the date. It's the 9th. But yeah, that's what's happening. This is a very short clip. I should explain why I don't want to continue the Rosie project. It's nothing against the book. Like, the book, I understand why people really enjoy it. Can you tell I put on fake nails? Oh my god. With how much I'm talking with my hands more than normal. No, nothing against the Rosie project. I really enjoyed it. In the first, like, the first 10%, I was iffy. Once Rosie came in and they became friends, I really liked that part. Rosie and Dawn's friendship I liked. But now it's at the point where he's trying to make it something more, but just friends with benefits, and she wants a relationship, and I'm not here for this. I like their friendship. And this is, so at this point, it's nothing I enjoy. And even if they do become in a relationship, it's like not confirmed that's gonna be the same as when they were in a friendship type situation. And such. Also, secondhand awkwardness / embarrassment is a big problem with me, and this book, oh, so bad with that. Oh my god. He was just doing, like, practicing sexual positions that he learned from a book with a skeleton, to practice, so he knew what to do with Rosie. Even though she hasn't even confirmed that she wants to be a thing. Also, I'm pretty sure he's about to tell her that he wants to sleep with her in front of multiple people. That's fun. And then the dean walks in on him, and he's like, thank God I'm wearing clothes. And I'm like, no. Like, the time that he was just walked into a gay bar and didn't know it was a gay bar, and so a bunch of men were hitting on him. What? Like, clearly him and Rosie are gonna end up one way or another, because she definitely brings out the better parts of him, type situation. Not really the better parts, but, she, like, makes him laugh. His nuances with social situations make her laugh. But, like, it's not making fun of him type laughter. It's definitely more of a, like, laughing with him, this guy's great type situation. And also just, like, she understands him, but also makes him go outside his comfort zone. Like, their first date kind of situation, and how, like, everything was off schedule because of the time and whatnot, and so she just changed the time on the clock. Like, it was definitely type of situation where she understands him and how to use his, or, you know, use his differences and just accept them, make them normal type situation. I don't know what's going on with her father, because that's like supposed to be the cop out of the whole entire plot, but I don't understand what's happening there. Who's gonna be her dad? Is it gonna be the best friend? New theory. The best friend, Dawn's best friend, who's sleeping around with all these girls that the wife does not know about. I'm pretty sure he's the father. That's my new theory. But I'm not gonna continue it. I don't think I would like it in their relationship in a romantic sense. I think it's only a friendship type thing for me. So I'm leaving it at that. I'm gonna read Cawthorn's Roses. I have read it. I read it 2020, I'm pretty sure. It was either 2019, 2020. It's my junior year of college. I read it in 48 hours. Ebook, not even audiobook, just straight up ebook, read in 48 hours, sorry. A friend bet me that I couldn't do in 48 hours. I won that ice cream, okay? I won it fair and square. And I think I originally rated it 2, but I later on brought it down to 1, and then the second book was 2, and the third book was 3, and then the novella was 2. So I am going to pick that up, and there's a very high chance that it's either going to be 2 or 3 star rereading it. And I know this, it's fine. And I know I just said I'm DNFing books if they give me 2-star vibes, and this one's gonna be 2-star probably. But, like, I can listen to this super fast, being as I've already read it. And I understand what's happening and all this stuff. And also, I think also just the characters I enjoy more. I'm not really the characters I enjoy more. Maybe it's the writing I enjoy more. Maybe it's that. Because the setting, I don't know. The characters, I barely understand who's who and, who people's relationships are. Because, like, this best friend guy, I don't know if that's his wife, his, like, significant other, what's going on there. So I'm confused a lot in the Rosie Project. In A Cawthorn's Roses, I won't be confused because I already know everything. I just much more simpler writing style. Also, I think I've gotten more into Sarah J. Maas's writing style since I read it the first time, because I did rate 2 of her books 4 stars in the past 2 years. So, you get bonus book. That's the moral of the story. Bonus book. Happy Christmas. I don't know. So I'll update you maybe at the 50% mark. I don't know. I'll update you eventually. Is my hair a mess? Yes. Do I need to clean it? Yes. Could I just have waited to film this until tomorrow after I had done so first thing in the morning? Also, yes. But I really wanted to have this up by tonight. So if I managed to get this up on May 11th, someone be proud of me. I think it's the 11th. Yeah. May 11th. Someone be proud of me because I actually managed to get up on the day I originally planned. Also, we're going to ignore the fact that the window's open. It's like 80 degrees outside. Let me live my life. There is no, like, cooling system or heating system in this room. It is very hot. We are living our best lives. Now, I'm pretty sure I mentioned 2 things. One, that the first time I read ACOTAR, I rated it 1 star. I mean, originally 2, but went down to 1. And also, that I was going to update you when I reached halfway point. That didn't happen. And I may have officially gone crazy, but I'm giving it 4 stars. 1, the audiobook was great. The only gripe I had with it at all was the fact that the narrator pronounced Rhysand's name very weird. And also didn't pronounce tampon. She pronounced it Tamlin. That's like so weird. So there's that. And also I was annotating it at the same time, and I think not really taking the time, because like I did read it pretty fast still. It was 3 days instead of 2. Oh my god, what a difference. Also I just found out it was almost exactly 2 years ago. Like, it was 2 years ago and like a week since I read this. A little suspicious me, but whatever. But anyways, like, 1 extra day to read it, whatever, it's fine. I definitely could have done it in 2 days, but I wanted to read my audiobook yesterday from the library before the loan had to be returned and whatnot. But, like, the process of, one, just enjoying the experience without having to worry about what anyone else's thoughts on it was, and two, just having a fun time annotating. Like, I color coordinated it. Some of the lines are hilariously bad. Like, I will give you that. This is not a good book or a perfect book or any of this stuff. I just had a good time, and it's the book that I needed at the moment. Am I fighting myself to, like, I really want to read ACMAF, but I won't. Maybe next month, but I won't read it this month because I have too many books I have to read this month. And I'm already behind, but that's fine. This was just a fun time. Maybe one day I will show someone my annotations of it. I only left comments a few times. It was mostly just highlighting with the color-coded highlighting. But it was very much, a lot of times, like, sentences or lines were repeated, or the way they were written. Like, why do we need to hear about her bowels turning watery multiple times on multiple occasions? And then also the fact that she wants to taste his sweat. Farrah, what are you doing? There was another one that I felt hilariously bad the first time they did it, which was, I think it was like when they were kissing, and she was like, when his tongue went into my mouth, I felt every pore in my body, and I was just like, okay. Also, Rhysand is just chaotic greatness in this book, which says a lot, because I've learned I love chaos in books, and he really gives it to us. An icon for that. Still not my favorite character, but still an icon for that. No, how dare I? I have a favorite High Fae, and it's not Rhysand. I know, so sad. Though he is in the next one. I'm very excited. I just had a good time, and no one can hate me on this. Not the notifications. No. I have absolutely no clue how I'm gonna review this, because I'm also posting a review on Instagram. Go follow me on Instagram. All my things are down below, like Goodreads, Storygraph, Instagram, wishlist if you want it. I don't know. But like, it's gonna be fun trying to figure out what to say. Not more notifications. But it's gonna be, that will be a time. But I think I mentioned this in sprints, so like the 3 people who were there for that, I'm sorry, but you gotta hear it again. This series, reading it back, is very much definitely more, one, I've gone more into character-driven books since then, for sure. Especially in the past year, since I read it the first time, like around the middle point, around March of last year is when I started getting into character-driven books more than plot-driven books. Oh, not like more, but like in comparison, I was mostly only into plot-driven books. I thought a book could only be good if it had a plot type of situation, because that's how I was taught. It took me getting out of that situation, getting out of the creative writing school to realize otherwise, but it's been interesting. Because I know what happens for the next 2 books and novella. Silver Flame's coming to a vlog near you at some point. But it was very much a situation where I realized that I could really go into characters. That's what I was mostly annotating, characters. I mean, I also annotated some foreshadowing stuff, but it was mostly character stuff. Because this series is really good into going into the psychology of characters, if you really want to do that. And that's something I've been really into this year alone. I did that with Never Let Me Go. I went real deep into one character there. And so apparently I'm doing that with ACOTAR for my second read. And it's just making it that much more enjoyable. And I'm just having a fun time. That's how I'm gonna say it. I'm just having a fun time. No one hate on me. I recognize that some people love this book and some people really hate this book. It's very rare to find in betweens. It is official that I have rated the 3 series. Does she have a 4th? Like more than Throne of Glass, Crescent City, and ACOTAR. Does she have another series? I don't think so. Of her 3 series, all the first books in each one I rated 4 stars as of now. I mean, I will reread Throne of Glass later on because I want to start from the beginning and try again. I mean, not try again, I really liked it, but like I want to do it in like 1 week type thing, or not a week, but like one section at a time. But this was definitely a fun time. Not a perfect book. Sometimes not even a good book, but it was what I needed in the moment, and it was enjoyable. And that sometimes that's just what you need. So I'm gonna head out with that knowledge and the knowledge of the fact that the book I rated the highest in this video was ACOTAR. I thought the highest I was gonna give it was a 3, and here I am. Who let me? I mean, technically, I also rated Concrete Rose 4 stars, so like, there's that. But yes, I'll give a basic rundown and then I'll close this off. So Concrete Rose is the first one by Angie Thomas. Really enjoyed it. I think if I had read it before I read The Hate U Give, I would have liked it more, but because I already knew all the basics, general information, nothing was really new. It was just the details that were new. That being said, still good book. Still recommend. And the audiobook was great. 4 stars. A Ruin of Roses, a different Beauty and the Beast retelling. It is very much ACOTAR / ACOMAF mixed with Desperate Measures, I think by Katie Robert, is that right? That book was great. I have a thing where apparently I rate erotica fiction 3.5 stars, and that's weird because, like, it's definitely got things, but not with the main characters, not really. They don't do the deed, not to the full extent. It's everyone else that does. So that's interesting, and I will continue that series. The Rosie Project, I DNF'd. No problem, like, not against the book. The writing style just wasn't for me. I knew before I even reached halfway through the book that I wasn't going to continue the series, and then it just got to the point where it was putting me in a reading slump, and I have too many books to read this month, so no thank you. So I decided DNF around 53%. I get why people enjoy it, but not really my type of romance, and the writing style wasn't for me. And then we got ACOTAR. I will continue the series. I'm hoping to read ACOMAF next month. ACOTAR, whichever one, if I don't read ACOMAF, I will read in October, but if I do, ACOTAR is in October. So that is also coming to a reading vlog near you. But I'm just gonna close this off. This has been an interesting time. This was supposed to take me like 7 days max, and it has been 11 days. You know, if we cut out the 2 days that I didn't read any, technically it has been 8 days, so not that bad. Not that bad. Make sure to subscribe and watch me ignore the notification I got from my library. And check in, especially for reading sprints. Those are a time we're having a good time in those. A lot of comedy in there. But I'll see you all in the next one.